Dreamscape presents Cockatiels at 7 by Donna Andrews, narrated by Bernadette Dunne. Chapter 1. "Meg, are you busy?" Dad asked. I didn't turn around. The iron rod heating in my forge was approaching white hot, which meant it was the perfect temperature for working. So instead of answering, I gripped the rod with my tongs, pulled it out, slapped it onto the anvil with a satisfying clang, and began hammering one end into a point. Okay, I confess, I showboated a bit just to emphasize how very busy I was. I worked faster than I normally would, with just a little flourish as I turned the rod left, right, over and over, shaping the point. Then I moved an inch and a half back and began shaping and narrowing another area. When I'd done as much as I could without heating the metal again, I plunged the rod abruptly into the water bucket, sending up a cloud of faintly acrid steam. I closed my eyes as I breathed in the familiar, strangely soothing odor. Or maybe it wasn't the odor I found soothing. When you're feeling annoyed, whacking things with a 2-pound hammer works infinitely better than counting to 10. "Yeah," I said. "I'm busy." I turned to see both Dad and Dr. Blake standing in the doorway of the barn where I'd set up my smithy. Technically, I was allowed to call Dr. Blake Grandpa, now that the DNA tests had proved he was Dad's long-lost father, but that would take some getting used to. So for the moment, I went to great lengths not to call him anything at all. I pulled the iron rod out of the bucket, held it up, and sighted along the shaft. The end I'd been working on had now taken on a shape like a rough spear point. I smiled at the smooth, flat surfaces, with just enough faint dimpling to prove that they had been hammered on a forge rather than poured in some factory. Nice work, if I did say so myself. And a good start on having a productive Monday morning. "That's not finished, is it?" Dr. Blake asked. My mellow mood evaporated. "No, of course not," I said. "What is it?" he asked. "Some kind of primitive boar spear?" "A towel rod. This is only step 1 of a 5 or 6-step process. When it's finished, it will look like this." I strode over to the section of the barn where I stored completed work and picked up a towel rod made of a single iron bar hammered into a graceful curve with a curling leaf on each end.
"Sample complete. Ready to continue?"